All right, get ready for this one. A mountain of reports landed on our desks, and it's all about the latest in crypto and AI and robotics. We're talking huge political stuff, market craziness, and even some seriously cool robots straight out of CES. Ready to dive in?
Let's go. It feels like every single day there's some brand new thing that could totally change the game.
Totally. So we're going to cut through all that noise today and get you up to speed on what really matters.
Yeah,
By the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly what you need to know to make sense of these exciting and, let's be honest, kind of crazy worlds.
sounds like a plan to me. What
Yeah.
should we tackle first?
Well, I think we got to address the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is back in the White House, and the whole world's wondering what it means for crypto.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of buzz around that, especially with Bitcoin going haywire just before the inauguration. Remember when it shot past $109,000?
It was wild. Like, everyone was waiting for some major crypto announcement, and then nothing. Not a word in the inauguration speech.
And Bitcoin tanked right back down to just above $100,000.
Ouch.
Over $1 billion in liquidations. I guess all those campaign promises about America becoming the crypto capital might have been a bit optimistic.
Maybe a little. But here's where things get really strange. The Trump family, they've gone and launched their own crypto tokens. You know, Trump and Wania.
Ah, yes, the Trump coins. Just goes to show you the power of a good speculative frenzy.
For real. Their market caps hit $72 billion and $9.5 billion. And we're talking about tokens that have no real use, just riding the Trump name.
Really highlights how unpredictable crypto can be. Sometimes hype and a famous name are all it takes, even if there's no actual function.
So what do you think about the long-term impact of Trump's return, beyond the initial market chaos? What should people be paying attention to?
Well, I think it's really important to look past the initial market stuff and really think about what policies might come out of this. Will the Trump administration introduce crypto-specific regulations? What about the stance of financial institutions? How will other countries react? These are the big questions.
Makes sense. Seems like the crypto world better buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride as Trump's policies, or lack thereof, start to take shape. And speaking of policies, let's talk about what's happening globally on the regulatory front. Europe's moving towards a more standardized system with their MiCA regulation, right?
That's right. MiCA is all about bringing more security and transparency to the crypto market, and that could be a total game changer when it comes to attracting bigger investors and making things more stable in the long run.
So more protection for investors and maybe a less volatile market. Sounds promising. But you mentioned that the U.S. is taking a different approach, especially with AI.
Exactly. While Europe is focused on getting crypto standardized, the U.S. is tightening the reins on AI chip exports, specifically targeting countries like China. It's a strategic play to keep their edge in the AI game.
Wow. So we could end up with a fragmented AI landscape where what you can develop and what AI can even do is different depending on where you live.
It's definitely possible. Imagine a future where access to cutting-edge AI depends on geopolitical borders. It could have huge implications for everything from the economy to national security.
It's almost like a technological Cold War. Speaking of battles, the rivalry between NVIDIA and AMD is heating up in the AI hardware market.
Oh, absolutely. Their announcements at CES made it clear that both companies are going all in on AI. NVIDIA showed off its new AI-capable GPUs for everything from gaming to robotics, and AMD countered with their expanded Ryzen CPU lineup that's gained some serious AI muscle.
Classic rivalry. But the cool thing is that this competition actually benefits the average person.
Couldn't agree more. It pushes innovation and drives down prices, which makes powerful AI tech more accessible to everyone. It's not just about who comes out on top, it's about all the progress and accessibility that happen along the way.
Okay, so we've got political shakeups, regulatory shifts, and a tech rivalry for the ages. Now let's talk robots. CES was a playground for all things robotic this year. What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, there were some really impressive robots with a lot of versatility, like the SwitchBot K20 Plus Pro can basically automate your whole house. And we also saw the Mirakai from Enchanted Tool, which is a humanoid robot that can actually interact with people and do tasks.
Humanoid robots, home automation.
Yeah.
It's like something straight out of the Jetsons. And wasn't Tesla making some noise in the robotics department too?
Oh, for sure. Tesla showed off some pretty amazing advancements with their Optimus robot. Apparently, it can now handle all sorts of household chores, laundry, basic cooking, that kind of thing.
Wow. We're really getting close to having those robot butlers we've always dreamed of. But how long until these robots are actually in people's homes?
Well, that's the big question, right? It comes down to cost, safety regulations, and whether people even want them. But Tesla seems pretty determined to make it happen. All right, so let's shift gears a bit and jump into the world of AI and robotics. There's some truly groundbreaking stuff happening in this space.
I'm ready. Especially when it comes to healthcare. I've heard about some AI breakthroughs that would sounded like sci-fi just a few years ago.
You're telling me. Take Google Health, for example. They just announced a major advancement in AI-powered cancer detection.
Oh, yeah.
Their new models are hitting over 90% accuracy when it comes to identifying breast cancer in clinical trials.
90%. That's incredible. Early detection is so important in the fight against cancer, so this could be a real game changer.
Absolutely. And it's not just about being accurate. AI can also help cut down on false positives, which can be a huge relief for patients.
That's a huge win for everyone. Less stress and more accurate diagnoses, which means earlier intervention and potentially better outcome.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to autonomous robotics, Boston Dynamics is making some serious waves with their robots. They're so agile, almost human-like.
Oh, yeah. Boston Dynamics. Their robots are always going viral for doing some pretty amazing stuff. What are they up to now?
Well, at CES, they showed off some impressive new skills for their Atlas robot, especially in warehouse logistics, like really advanced object manipulation and task automation.
So are robots going to be running warehouses now? Is this the start of the robot uprising?
Let's not jump to conclusions, but yeah, these advancements could definitely have a big impact on industries that rely on manual labor, especially logistics and retail.
So it's less about replacing humans and more about robots and humans working together to make things more efficient.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot where human expertise and robotic capabilities work together.
Makes sense. And we can't talk about AI and robotics without mentioning Tesla. They've been pretty open about their robotic ambitions with the Optimus robot.
Oh, for sure. They've been steadily making progress with Optimus, which is meant to be like an all-purpose humanoid robot that can handle a wide range of tasks.
I remember seeing those videos of Optimus picking up objects. Have they taught it to do anything more useful yet?
Well, according to Tesla, Optimus can now handle basic stuff around the house, like folding laundry, cleaning, even a little bit of cooking.
Wow, so robot butlers are really getting closer. But how long before we actually see these things in people's homes?
That's the million-dollar question. Cost is a big factor, and then there's safety regulations and whether people even want them. But Tesla's not messing around. They seem determined to make it happen.
So we've got robots fighting cancer, working in warehouses, and even cooking dinner. What's next? Robots in space.
Funny you should mention that. NASA has been developing AI-enabled robots to help out astronauts on those upcoming lunar missions, the Artemis program.
That's amazing. What kind of stuff will these robots be doing in space?
Pretty much anything. Assisting with scientific experiments, helping with base construction and maintenance. Think of them as robotic handymen for the astronauts.
So basically, they're giving robots all the jobs that are too dangerous, difficult, or just plain boring for humans.
It's a trend. But let's not forget that AI is more than just robots. It's also powering all those creative tools and apps, like those AI art generators that everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah. Those AI art generators. Are they any good now?
Yeah.
I remember when they first came out, the results were kind of hit or miss.
Oh, they've gotten so much better. It's incredible. OpenAI's latest update to their GPT-4 model can generate images and videos right alongside text. And it's good. I mean, really good, almost like a human made it.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Imagine what that means for creative industries like marketing, advertising, movies, gaming. The potential is huge.
Definitely. But like with any new tech, there's also the ethical side of things, like copyright concerns and the potential for misuse of AI-generated content.
That's true. And then there are those worrying headlines about AI being used to create deepfakes.
Deepfakes are definitely a growing concern. I mean, these manipulated videos can be incredibly realistic, and they could be used to spread false information or ruin people's reputations.
It's kind of scary to think that we might not be able to trust what we see and hear anymore. Are there ways to spot these deepfakes?
Luckily, some companies, like McAfee, are developing tools that use AI to detect deepfakes.
Well, that's a relief. It feels like we're entering a world where media literacy and critical thinking are more important than ever.
Couldn't agree more. As AI gets better at creating convincing fakes, we need to be extra careful about the information we consume.
So we've got AI creating art, fighting deepfakes, and even exploring space. But what about our daily lives? Is AI making its way into our everyday routines?
Oh, absolutely. Just look at your inbox. Google recently made their Gemini AI model available for free to anyone using Workspace. That means it's integrated into Gmail and Docs now.
Wait, really? I hadn't even noticed. So what does that mean for the average person using Gmail?
It means you've got AI-powered tools right at your fingertips that can help you write better emails, create more compelling documents, even brainstorm ideas.
So AI is basically becoming a personal assistant for everyone.
You could say that. It's all about making us more capable and boosting our productivity and efficiency.
That sounds great. But are there any privacy concerns with having AI integrated into our emails and documents?
That's a valid point, but Google has implemented some pretty strict privacy measures to make sure your data is protected and used responsibly.
That's good to hear. Okay, we can't talk about AI without addressing the elephant in the room, how it might affect jobs.
It's a complex issue, that's for sure. While AI will likely automate some tasks and could displace some jobs, it's also likely to create new opportunities in fields like AI development, data analysis, and AI ethics.
So it's not as simple as robots taking over the world and everyone losing their job.
Not at all. It's about adapting to a changing world and making sure people have the skills they need to succeed in this AI-powered future.
Makes sense. Now, before we move on, I wanted to touch on the partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI. They seem to be a real powerhouse in the AI world.
They've been teaming up on several projects. Microsoft's Copilot AI service is a good example. It's like an AI assistant for businesses.
Copilot. Tell me more.
Well, imagine an AI assistant that can answer questions, put together reports, automate tasks, and even create images. And it's all powered by OpenAI's GPT-4 model.
That sounds super useful. But is it only available to big corporations?
Actually, Microsoft just announced a new pay-as-you-go plan for Copilot, so now businesses of all sizes can use it.
That's great news. It seems like AI is becoming more accessible, which is exciting.
It is, but wider adoption also means we need to pay even more attention to responsible development and ethical considerations.
You're right. We need to make sure that AI benefits everyone. Speaking of responsibility, there have been some concerns about Microsoft and OpenAI stifling competition in the AI market.
Yeah, some people are worried that their combined resources and expertise could give them too much power, and limit innovation from smaller players.
That's like a David and Goliath situation.
Kind of, yeah. But the U.S. Federal Trade Commission is keeping a close eye on the deal to make sure it doesn't hurt competition.
Good to know. So we've seen some incredible advancements in AI, but there's also been some controversy. What are some of the issues that have been making headlines?
Well, there's that lawsuit against Meta by a group of authors who say Meta used their books without permission to train its Llama large language model.
Meta, as in Facebook.
The one and only. The authors are saying that Meta used pirated copies of their books to train its AI. So it raises some serious questions about copyright infringement and the ethics of using copyrighted material without consent.
Wow, that's a pretty serious accusation. It reminds us that even with all this amazing potential, AI is still created by humans, and humans make mistakes.
Absolutely. We can't forget that. But let's not dwell on the negative. There have been some incredible achievements in AI and robotics. What are some of the milestones that stand out to you?
Oh, for sure. On the AI front, it's hard to top IBM's Deep Blue defeating chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov back in 1997.
Such a historic moment. It was one of the first times a computer beat a world champion in a game of strategy, and it really changed how people saw AI.
Right. And in robotics, we can't forget the first robotic arm on a factory floor back in 1959. That was the start of the automation revolution that totally changed manufacturing.
And of course, who could forget the Roomba, the little robot vacuum that brought robotics into everyday homes?
Yeah, the Roomba was a game changer. From chess-playing computers to floor-cleaning robots, we've come a long way.
We have. And the pace of innovation is just getting faster. What trends and new technologies do you think are shaping the future of AI and robotics?
Ooh, good question.
Well, in AI, I see a move towards vertical integration. Developing AI models that are specifically designed for certain industries, like healthcare, finance, manufacturing.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all AI, we're moving towards specialized AI that are experts in their own fields.
Exactly. It's about creating more targeted and effective solutions that meet the unique needs of each industry.
That makes a lot of sense. Are there any other trends in AI that you're keeping an eye on?
Definitely. Transfer learning is becoming more popular. It basically means using what an AI has learned from one task to get better at another related task. This makes AI models more adaptable and versatile.
like teaching an AI new skills so it can handle different situations, kind of like a well-rounded education for AI.
Exactly. Now, on the robotics side, one of the most exciting developments is the rise of autonomous robots that can operate on their own in complex environments.
Autonomous robots, so basically robots that can think for themselves.
They don't think exactly like humans do, but they're getting better at making decisions and navigating tricky situations without humans stepping in.
That's pretty amazing. What are some potential applications for this kind of advanced robotics?
The possibilities are huge. Think exploring dangerous environments, performing delicate surgeries. Autonomous robots could really revolutionize a lot of industries.
Starting to get a little scared, but mostly excited. What other robotics trends are out there that we should know about?
Soft robotics is getting a lot of attention. It's all about creating robots with flexible, pliable materials instead of those stiff metal structures.
So robots made of something like rubber.
Not exactly rubber, but the idea is to make robots that are safer to work with, more adaptable, and better suited for tasks that require a gentler touch.
I see. So they're less likely to crush things.
Right. Soft robotics has a ton of potential in healthcare, manufacturing, and even search and rescue.
So we've got autonomous robots, soft robots, and AI that can learn and adapt. The future of AI and robotics sounds pretty amazing. But what are some challenges that we should be thinking about as these technologies continue to evolve?
One of the biggest challenges is figuring out the ethical and societal implications of all this.
Can you say more about that? What kind of ethical and societal implications are we talking about?
Well, we've already touched on some of them, like job displacement, privacy concerns, potential bias in algorithms, and the possibility of AI being used for harmful purposes.
Right. Those are all really important concerns. What can we do to address these challenges?
We need to have open and honest conversations about them, involving experts in ethics, policymakers, and the general public in the process of developing and using AI and robotics.
So it's going to take a collaborative effort to make sure these technologies are used ethically and for the benefit of society.
Exactly. We need frameworks and guidelines that promote responsible and ethical development.
What about the role of government? How can policymakers encourage innovation while also addressing potential risks?
We're already seeing different approaches to regulation around the world.
Could you give us some examples?
Sure. The European Union is going with a more centralized approach with its AI Act, which aims to create a single set of rules for developing and using AI.
That sounds pretty ambitious.
It is. The goal is to make sure AI benefits everyone. Meanwhile, the U.S. is taking a more decentralized approach. Different agencies and states are developing their own AI initiatives.
So it's more of a piecemeal approach in the U.S.
Exactly. Both approaches have pros and cons. The key is finding a balance between encouraging innovation and protecting the public interest.
It sounds like finding that balance is going to be crucial for the responsible development and use of AI. Now, another trend that's been picking up steam is the increasing investment in AI and robotics.
The money is definitely flowing. Venture capitalists, corporations, governments, they're all pouring billions into AI and robotics research and development.
Why the sudden surge in investment?
There are a few reasons. First, people are starting to realize that AI and robotics have the potential to revolutionize so many industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to transportation and even space exploration.
And there's also the fear of being left behind in this rapidly changing tech world.
Exactly. Nobody wants to miss out on the next big thing. And then there's the hype surrounding AI and robotics, which naturally attracts investors who are looking for the next big opportunity.
It's important to remember that AI and robotics are still in their early stages of development, despite all the excitement and investment.
Absolutely. There's a lot of work to do. There are technical challenges and ethical considerations to think about. We need to be mindful of these as we move forward.
I'm glad we're having these conversations now as these technologies continue to advance and become more a part of our lives.
Me too. It's important to have these discussions and think critically about the potential impact AI and robotics will have on society.
Before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on another trend I've been noticing: the increasing convergence of crypto, AI, and robotics.
It's fascinating to see how these fields are starting to overlap and influence each other.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. We see AI being used to make trading algorithms in the crypto market more sophisticated. And blockchain technology could help create more secure and transparent systems for managing AI and robotics.
It's like these technologies are weaving together to create something entirely new.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the potential role of DAOs in governing these technologies.
DAOs, can you remind us what those are again?
DAOs are basically organizations that are run by code. They exist on the internet and allow for a more democratic and transparent way to manage the development and deployment of AI and robotics.
It's like decentralizing power and giving more control to the people.
That's the idea. Although there are still some hurdles to overcome before DAOs become a really viable way to govern these technologies.
I can imagine. But it's a really interesting concept that's worth exploring further. So we've covered the convergence of these technologies, the ethical implications, the regulations, the investment trends. What's the big takeaway from all this?
I think the main takeaway is that we're living through a period of incredible technological change. Advancements in crypto, AI, and robotics are transforming the world as we know it. It's our responsibility to stay informed, stay involved, and help shape the future we want.
That's a powerful message. What can our listeners do to stay ahead of the curve and understand all these rapid changes?
Never stop learning. Immerse yourself in these topics, whether it's through online courses, podcasts, books, or articles. Ask questions, challenge assumptions, and never lose that curiosity.
Love that. And I'd add, don't be afraid to get hands-on. If you're into crypto, set up a wallet and experiment. If AI is your thing, check out the tons of free AI tools and platforms out there. And if robotics fascinates you, explore DIY kits and online communities.
Hands-on experience is the best teacher. And don't keep your insights to yourself. Share your experiences and talk about these technologies with others. The more we discuss these issues, the better prepared we'll be to handle the challenges and seize the opportunities that are coming our way.
So to our listeners, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. We have the power to shape the future. Now, before we move on to the next topic, I want to make sure we mention any important conferences or events our listeners should know about in the AI and robotics world.
Oh, that's a great idea. There are a few big ones coming up. For those interested in AI, there's AI Everything Global in Dubai and the World AI Con Festival in France, both happening in February.
Those sound like fantastic events. And for the robot enthusiasts out there, are there any must-attend conferences?
You bet. ICRA 2025 is happening in Atlanta in May, and CASE 2025 is in Anaheim in August. Both are major robotics conferences where you'll get to see all the latest cutting-edge advancements.
Great. Thanks for letting us know about those. So it looks like we've covered just about everything, from all the political drama and groundbreaking innovations to the ethical dilemmas and investment trends. We've taken a deep dive into the worlds of crypto, AI, and robotics. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up the episode?
Just this. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged in the conversation. The future of these technologies depends on us.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a perfect note to end on. It's kind of crazy to think about how far we've come in such a short time. I mean, just a few years ago, some of this stuff would have been straight up science fiction.
It really is amazing. And it feels like the pace of change is just picking up speed. You know, what I find really interesting is how these different areas, crypto, AI, robotics, they're all starting to blend together and influence each other.
Yeah. It's like you said earlier, AI is being used to create these super sophisticated trading algorithms for crypto. And then you've got blockchain tech, which could help create more secure and transparent systems for AI and robotics.
Exactly. And those decentralized autonomous organizations, those DAOs, they could play a big role in how we govern these technologies in the future.
Right, DAOs. So they could offer a more democratic and transparent approach to managing how AI and robotics are developed and used, especially as these technologies become more and more a part of our lives.
It's a really intriguing idea. It could potentially shift the balance of power, away from those big corporations and governments and give more control to individuals. Of course, DAOs still have a ways to go before they become the standard way of doing things.
I get it, but it's definitely a concept worth paying attention to, especially as we're trying to figure out all the ethical and societal implications of these rapidly evolving technologies. So we've talked about how these technologies are converging, the ethical questions, the regulatory landscape, the investment trends. What's the big takeaway for everyone listening?
The biggest takeaway is that we're living in a time of truly remarkable technological change. Crypto, AI, and robotics, they're all transforming the world around us. It's up to each of us to stay informed, get involved, and help create the future we want to see.
Well said. How can our listeners stay ahead of the curve and make sense of all this change?
Never stop learning. Seriously. Dive deep into these topics. There are online courses, podcasts like this one, books, articles, anything that sparks your interest, go for it. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to challenge what you hear and keep that curiosity alive.
I love it. And I'd add, don't just learn, try things out. If you're into crypto, set up a wallet and see how it works. If AI is your thing, explore some of the free tools and platforms that are out there. And if robots fascinate you, Check out DIY kits and online communities.
Nothing beats hands-on experience. And don't keep all that knowledge to yourself. Share what you learn. Talk to people about these technologies. The more we have these conversations, the better we'll be able to handle whatever challenges come up and make the most of the opportunities that are headed our way.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. The future is waiting to be shaped. And that brings us to the end of another deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of crypto, AI, and robotics. Until next time, keep exploring.